Yeah, can you give us the top six business lessons that you have picked up along your way?
Okay. Number one would have to be believe in yourself and the contribution that you're making, um, to the universe and the world around you. And, um, you know, always work at improving that if that's a challenge for you, as it has been for me. But that would have to be number one. Um, Number two would be accept that change and evolution in business is a good thing, and that what you were doing yesterday doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. That things do shift and change, and just because something hasn't worked out doesn't mean it's a failure. It just means it's an opportunity to move on to the next thing, and gives you an opportunity to make things more to your liking. Um, Number three, spirituality and guidance from the universe needs to be complemented by genuine business skills. And if you don't have them, learn or outsource whatever it might be you're lacking. Um, if you're serious about a business in this industry, then you know key points of what your marketing, your PR. If you don't understand those skills or those aspects, then you're going to struggle. So you need to really learn some of those things. Number four, persistence. That would be a big thing. Just because one thing doesn't work one time doesn't mean that the next thing won't. So don't let it put you off. Um, Keep working towards your goals and your belief that what you're trying to achieve will happen. Don't let some of what you perceive as a lack of success in one area, don't see it as a failure. Just see it as a learning potential. Trust in your intuition, always, always, but know that in being guided this way, the purpose is based in your spiritual development needs, the goodness of others, not necessarily because we're expecting an outcome of success with any project that you might have. So if you're feeling guided and your intuition is telling you to run a workshop or um, to create a new product, and you do that, and then you're left wondering why it wasn't as successful as what you think, or the outcome wasn't what you expected. Spirit has guided you in that direction because of your learning. It's because of what you're gaining personally out of it as a person, and what your soul is evolving because of that project. And if you can see those things, then that's the gift that Spirit wants for you. Design your own path, and that means find your own way creatively. Just You don't have to um, be doing the same thing the rest of the industry is doing. If there's something that's sitting differently with you, then find a way. Create your own opportunities. I've certainly found that everything that I've come along and achieved has been basically I've received an inspiration from Spirit, an idea, and then I've had to find a way to get it out there to sell it. It's a rare occurrence that I've got a phone call or an invitation from someone else to come along and receive an opportunity that way. So design your own path and be proud of that. I guess they would be my top six.
Oh, I think they're very good ones, especially the one that you mentioned about following your intuition. Personally speaking, I've had quite a few lessons with that where, I may have a not so good feeling about something or someone, or I kind of get the feeling, oh, you need to be careful before you go into this. And then I've ignored it and thought, oh, I'm the benefit of the doubt, or I'll go and do whatever it is anyway. And my guides are very direct in the fact that, there's been times that I've been meant to go and do things, and they have gone out of their way to prevent me from getting there. Made me run late or put obstacle after obstacle in my way, only for me to push through and get there and find that it's it's been a complete
Yeah.
waste of time or a negative experience. And really, I always think to myself, it's my own fault because I should have listened, because I really knew that. And I think that is very important in in learning, especially in this industry, because spirits sort of will push you and say to you, no, look, there's no point in going and doing that or getting involved with that person, because whatever they're telling you is not the case. And I've really had to learn the hard way to listen to that, because my nature is to give the person the benefit of the doubt or to trust what they're saying. And quite often when my gut is telling me no, I find out the hard way why it's telling me that. And, at the end of the day, you've only got yourself to blame when, your guides have been saying to you, no, no, no. And you're like, yes, it's your own fault when it goes wrong.
Yeah, we can be our own worst enemies in a lot of ways.
I think a lot of it comes down to upbringing too, because we're brought up in a society where you do give people the benefit of the doubt. That's the way we're conditioned to be. Where I think if we all learn to come a little bit more from our heart instead of our head, it's one thing I tell my clients, 99% of the time your head will give you the same instruction in the same situation, which is why we make the same mistakes over and over. Where if we follow our heart, which is often more scary, we'll come out where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I certainly am someone that finds it so difficult now to, if I start heading down the road that's not aligned with my intuition or my heart, I find it almost physically difficult to do that. I will have, start feeling sick, having, burning sensations in my stomach, and just all the indications to pull me back in the direction that I need to.
Yeah, and it's important to learn to listen to those, isn't it? It's a hard lesson, especially when you're first entering your spirituality and you're first starting to work in this industry. I feel like that's one of the major lessons that most people go through.
Yeah, and I think it's we always associate an expected outcome with it. If we feel like we're guided to go in,
Hello, have I lost you?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Okay. I think one of the things that when we are being guided, we often place an expected outcome on that message or the guidance or where we're being directed to. Whereas if we can disassociate that expected outcome and just go, look, my intuition told me this, and while I don't understand it, I'm going to act on that intuition. And just if we just break it down to, step by step, we're just following our guidance system and our intuition. Eventually, we'll get where we're wanting to go, and we'll get, to the positive understanding of it and the outcome. But we often hold on to that outcome too much to start with.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Um, what are the most important things that you've learned about being a wife, mother, and a businesswoman?
I think about balance. I think, juggling all of those aspects, and it's a constant time of when you're thinking about your needs of your family, you're thinking about your needs of your business, you're thinking about your husband's needs, you're even thinking about your own needs as a person and your me time, and finding a way to adjust and balance all of those. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned about all of that.
And what tips do you have for other working mothers to achieve that kind of balance?
It's certainly one. I'm a big believer if you are coming from your heart and living a life based on what's in your heart and acting on that, then the natural outcome is balance, without even trying. However, most women find it really difficult to put themselves first. They've always, putting the obligations to their family, to their friends, to their loved ones. They always come from a natural position of putting themselves last, and find it really difficult to change that dynamic. But I think that that's the commitment that needs to be made, um, to achieve balance, is that you've really got to start putting yourself first. And I'm not saying that because you've got to be selfish, but it's more of, we know that if you're happy, if you're taken care of, then then the family is happy. Then you feel that like you can cope, that everything that's been weighing you down just feels much lighter, but it happens with putting us first and our needs, and learning to say no where you can, where people are being demanding and it's not working. And I think women naturally tend to find all of that very difficult, but that's the thing that will help them achieve balance.